Hello everyone, we have a brand new addition to the Conjuring verse, and I think it's a pretty good one. A little recap for some context before I jump into my review of The Nun 2. I liked the first Nun movie. I did find the story a little bit on the thin side, but I found that what it lacked in that department, it made up for via really great performances and a strong sense of atmosphere. This new Nun movie has those great performances and atmosphere, but then on top of that, it does add some far meatier storylines to the mix, ones that I found really well highlighted how what the main characters have been through in the past and who they are at present plays into how they navigate this whole horrific situation that's unfolding. And then also, there are storylines that could have major implications for the franchise going forward, ones that might also impact your experience rewatching previously released Conjuring films as well, and I like that quality in a new installment. So, synopsis time. Obviously, The Nun 2 takes place after the events of the first Nun movie. Sister Irene has moved on, but of course we learn at the end of The Nun 1 that Valak still has a hold on Maurice, aka Frenchie, and now in The Nun 2, we find him working at a boarding school. So what happens is Sister Irene is summoned to investigate some strange and very deadly incidents, and that puts those two storylines on a collision path, and it was a story structure that I found to be very, very effective in the film. So digging into those storylines now, and I'll begin here with Sister Irene. First thing I have to say here is Taissa Farmiga is just an absolute powerhouse in that role. I thought she was really great in the first Nun movie, but given what Irene had gone through there, it only makes sense that here she's evolved into just a sheer formidable force, and Farmiga really does have the skill set and the screen presence to make the absolute most of that here. Her storyline also involves a new addition to the series that I really loved. It's Storm Reed's character. She plays Sister Deborah, an officiate who's essentially in the same position Irene was in the last movie, and I just found the two of them to be an ideal pairing here for a number of reasons. First off, they just have great chemistry with one another, and then also, it's seeing Irene grapple with the past while she is seeing where Deborah's at in the present, and then on top of that, Deborah trying to find herself while looking at Irene as a mentor, and I just found that dynamic wound up strengthening both characters' arcs significantly. Then on top of that, just solo, Deborah's this real fiery spirit, and Reed uses that to bring a very effective burst of energy to the film that I absolutely loved. Then, of course, we have Jonas Bloquet back as Maurice, and he's just really got his work cut out for him in this storyline. This movie plain old doesn't work unless he's able to nail both extremes of that character. Remind us of the warm, charming Frenchie that we fell in love with in the first film, but then also, on a dime, be able to let the evil inside out. And he does great work with that all on his own, but I thought the choice to put that character in an environment like a boarding school and show the audience just these extremely sweet, sincere relationships that he fosters there winds up boosting that dual performance even more. Anna Popplewell is doing exactly what she needs to, playing a teacher at that boarding school who's also the mother of one of the students there. It's Sophie, and she's the student who's the closest with Maurice. Sophie's played by Caitlin Rose Downey, and I can't believe this, but The Nun actually marks her first big role in a major theatrical release, and watching the movie, you just wouldn't know it. She comes across as an effortless pro, maximum chemistry with everybody around her, and then she also gives Sophie this really winning sensitivity and kindness while also being able to show off a pitch-perfect sense of fight when the character and the storyline calls for it. As for the scares now, have to get into that. I'd say pretty much all the set pieces here work, but there are a couple of them that I have to highlight because they do feature a next level craftsmanship that was something else. Visually, I would say my favorite of the bunch was the newsstand scene. Just plain old beautiful to look at, and it is super creative, which easily makes it one of the most memorable scares of the film. My personal favorite of the bunch, though, comes towards the tail end of the movie, so I'm not going to spoil what it is here, but at the very least, I will tease that it has something to do with an image in a stained glass window. So you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the movie. Also, there's one location within the film's big finale set piece that I found to be extremely well used, and that set piece includes some very, very ambitious stunt work and also really well executed effects as well. Score time. I am giving The Nun 2 4 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale. Not only does the movie play really well on one watch, but it did leave me with that itch to circle back for round 2 ASAP, which isn't necessary, but it is a quality I do tend to appreciate in a movie. So I'm eager to give this one another watch because I really love the scare scenes, and I also very much enjoyed spending time with these characters. But I also want to watch it again because I am eager to further examine, or usually in my case, over-examine the new additions that this film makes to Conjuring lore overall. On one watch, I thought it worked. The new details really excited me, and they seem to make sense, but some of them are pretty big deals, so I do want another go-around just to make sure everything aligns as well as I thought it did. Overall, I would say The Nun is a really great mix of old and new. It felt like the new additions worked, and also the reuse of some familiar Conjuring qualities and scenarios were just really well done, well executed. Michael Chaves' work is clearly getting stronger and stronger with every Conjuring film he makes, and that being said, I wouldn't mind seeing him stick with the franchise a bit longer just to see how he can continue to push it further and further with these films. But, also, if an original film is calling, I am quite eager to see what he could do in that department as well. But right now, I am quite happy with The Nun 2. When you all go out and see it, you know what has to happen. I need to know your thoughts as well. Put them in the comments section below. I am eager to read them. Big thanks to out there, everybody watching this review. Stay tuned. More on the way very, very soon.